Hello, hello. My name is Michelle. Thank you so much for tuning in. I decided, since it's the end of July, that I wanted to share some teacher tips from a veteran teacher. I did the math, and technically it looks like I've been a teacher, or I've been in the world of education for 27 years. That is crazy. But I like to say that this is like my 23rd or 24th year actually teaching, because a couple of those years I wasn't actually like in the classroom, or I wasn't connected to a school system. I was like in corporate, but still doing like educational stuff. So anyway, I feel like I have some tips to help you all if you're a teacher and you're getting ready to start the new school year. We actually go back tomorrow. I'm in the Southeast United States, so we go back kind of early, but we also kind of get out early compared to my northern colleagues and stuff. So anyway, I wanted to share some tips to hopefully make your year go by smoother. These are 10 tips that I live and swear by, that I have learned over the years. It has made my life just so much easier and more bearable at work. Okay, so without further ado, I'm gonna share them with you. I'm using my little thing again. If you saw one of my other videos, you'll see as I was decluttering, I came across this. It's not sponsored. It's called a Boogie Board. I love it because then I can save paper. So I just wrote my list of what I want to say, and now I can like look over here and see it. You know what? I really should put it right here. And then that way, no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna put it right here because I like it better right there. All right, so without further ado, here we go. There's 10 of them. Number 1, administrators' big rocks. Pay attention to that, okay? That's gonna make your year so much better. So as a quick aside, please forgive my nails. I literally just did them this morning. I don't know what's up with OPI, but I'm so mad. This hand is fine, this hand, they're all messed up already. So anyway, learn your administrator's big rocks. So every school always has that first staff meeting back. Make sure you're listening, okay? Because honestly, it does not matter what you think. I know you don't want to hear that, but it's true. If you want to make your life easier, it does not matter what you think is important. You know what's important? Whatever the administration says is important. You know why that's more important than what you think is important? Is because then when they evaluate you, they're looking for the stuff that is important to them, not important to you. So to save yourself some headache, listen to what's important to them. So that means if this year they're all about differentiation, then that means, you know what, you better make sure that when they come in your room, it is clear that you are differentiating. If this is their year for SEL and they're like, hey, I want to know that all my teachers are plugged into socio-emotional learning, have some stuff that looks like you're doing that. Okay, even if that's not your thing, you don't buy it, you don't know how that's going to positively impact student achievement, doesn't matter, have it visible. If it's being a team player and they want more team planning, go along with it. Because the cool thing about education is, guess what, y'all? By December, it's going to be some new big rocks. So you don't even have to stress yourself out, okay? You're just really just going with the flow, because I can guarantee you that by like December, January, you're going to have that another staff meeting, and then it's going to be a whole bunch of other stuff. And you'll be like, well, what happened to the stuff from August? Sometimes they remember, sometimes they don't. Trust me. Go with the flow, okay? And sometimes things are changing, you know, because we don't have a bird's eye view. We don't know what's coming down from, you know, their boss or other people in the district. So again, to make yourself just follow the big rocks. Whatever the admin is into this year, doesn't matter what they were into last year, doesn't matter what you did at your other school, what you did last year. Nope. Whatever they say they're into this year, say my 2 favorite letters. They're my favorite. Oh, okay. Next one. Room setup. Don't set your room up before you have that back to school, that first staff meeting. And here's the reason why. Trust me. I know you want to get ahead of the game, and I used to do that. I would come up to my classroom the Friday before and I would set it up and it would look all pretty. And the reason why I do this and why other teachers do it is because we know the first week back is just chock full of meetings. And then what ends up happening is you end up having to stay late, or you're just, you know, you're just nervous and panicked because you know that like within the end of the first week, that's when they do that back to teacher, meet the teacher thing. And you got to have your room ready, right? Right. However, don't do it. Here's the reason why you don't want to set up your room early. Because if you set up your room early and then when you get to that staff meeting and they talk about the big rocks, and you don't have one of those elements, now you're all either one, you're mad because you're like, I didn't spend my time. I wish I would have known this before I set up my room. That's what I'm telling you. Don't set up your room. So that way, if you wait and just brace yourself and say, you know what, I'm just going to have to stay, extra hour at work for a couple days or however long it takes you to get your room set up to your liking, just wait until that first meeting. Because that way, if they're like, hey, we want to see that SEL is apparent in your room, that way when you set your room up, you can have like a little bulletin board or a little shelf on a bookcase that says, SEL or I care about you. And then you have all your little stuff there. Or if it's differentiation, whatever it is, just wait. Trust me, just wait. That way you don't have to do double work. Third, find out who the real leaders are. Find those out. And when I say real leaders, I mean people who have the ears and eyes of the administration. Okay. So what that means is the team lead may not necessarily be the real leader among those group of teachers. He or she may be, but they might not be. So you want to sit back and pay attention to like who seems to have the ear of the administrators, because that's who you want to take your cues from. Okay. So that's who you want to pay attention to, because if they have the ear of the administration, then you're like, oh, okay, I see how they do that. I think this is safe. I can do it that way. So kind of, and it also helps, I think, with when you're trying to kind of figure out who's who and who can be helpful and who might be more of a problem than a help. So I would say do that. Which leads me to my number 4, find a work bestie. Find a work bestie, because this is a stressful job. And if you are new to the world of teaching, I'm sorry, but welcome, welcome. I absolutely love it. Don't give up. I promise you, you will get better. It won't get better. You'll get better, which means then you'll be able to deal with the shenanigans a little better. It's not going to get better, but you'll get better. So that's the thing to take away. So find a work bestie. That way, when you're sad, you're overwhelmed, you just need a hug, you need somebody to make you laugh, then you can always go to that person. That person can come to you, and you want to keep that work bestie thing kind of slim. So maybe 1 or 2 people max. Like, you don't want this to be a big group of people, because then, you never really know, like, are people really being loyal? Are they repeating what I'm saying? Next thing, I'm on number 5. I would say this one is like super important. This is kind of on the side of like, I like to think of teaching as a table with 4 legs. And so you're going to have the administration, you're going to have your colleagues or your teammates, you're going to have students, you're going to have parents. So these first 5 connect to your colleagues and administration. So for number 5, the tip is remember your why. Because at some point during this school year, which I think is about 41 weeks, it's very similar to the length of a pregnancy. Do not ask me how I know that or why I know that. I don't know, but I do know that. But it kind of helps me, because then you kind of can picture like, okay, this is the first trimester, second, we get ready to give birth. That's the way I like to look at it. But anyway, know your why, because at some point during the school year, you are going to be like, what am I doing? Why did I pick this? Why did I think I wanted to do this? You're going to have that moment. And even after all these years, I still have those moments, okay? I still have those moments where I'm like, why am I a teacher? Why am I doing this? And so you have to know that, because there's going to be times when you want to say, I cannot do this, but yes, you can. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. So connect back to your why, whether it's, hey, you want to save the world and help the kids be global citizens, or maybe it's, hey, you're a mom and this job allows you to earn some money, as well as kind of it works with your family schedule as far as your kids. Hey, that's fine. Hey, maybe you're doing this because you only have a few more years before you can get Social Security, and you thought, hey, this would be a good second career. Whatever it is, just go back to that, because at some point this year, you're going to be like, I can't do this, but you can. Okay, so my 6 through 10 are all connected to the kiddies and their parents. First one, learn their names. Learn their names. Learn their names. I'm talking about the kids, not the parents. Learn their names as quickly and as soon as possible. That is my superpower after all these years. I will know my kids' names by the end of the first week. Most times I know them by like the second day. Learn the names. And here's the thing. And this is I don't know how to say this. This is going to be a culturally responsive tip. Don't nickname the kids. Okay. So if you have a child in your room and their name has 5 syllables, figure out how to say it. Now, what I do, because I'm like a dinosaur in this world of teaching, I print out my roll book from our digital grade book. I print it out. And then when I come across names that I'm like, what in the, oh, I don't know how to say that. You know what I do? Is I write their name in parentheses beside it phonetically. So that way, when it's time for me to say their name, I can get all 5 syllables. And I say this because names matter. And it speaks volumes to children when you see a name, and especially because we are a melting pot here in the United States. And so we get kids from all over. And so we get kids whose names, they're not comfortable for us to say, they're not. But you can practice and you can get it. And I'm going to give you a perfect example. So last semester, it was last semester. So it would have been in January. I had a student, he was from Nigeria. He was so sweet, loving. Well, his name, I'm going to say it. I think it's like 5, 6 syllables. I messed it up until I was so committed to learning how to pronounce his name, y'all. On my phone, I opened up the voice recorder and I was like, say your name. And then I would listen to it and then I'd play it back because I was like, I'm going to get this name. His name was Ndele Nkachukwu. Yes, yes. Now, do you know how that made him feel that I took the time to learn his name and I wasn't like, oh, hey, can I just call you like Olu or Dele or Chukwu or something? Nope. I took my time and I learned it. Now, the flip side of that is I was so mad because in high school, sometimes schedules are changing. So like those first 10 days, sometimes you'll get kids and then they'll get moved to another class. Guess what? He got moved to another class. And I was so upset because I was like, I took all that time learning his name, but it's okay. When I see him in the hallway, he still smiles and stuff. So learn the names. Don't do nicknames. Now, if you are going to do nicknames more so connected to like behavior traits. Like, so for instance, or personality traits. So last semester, one of my students, I named him Grandpa because he was always the last one out my room. Always. So he was Grandpa. Now, if you're going to be nicknaming the kids, that's fine. Just make sure you have that type of relationship with them. And also make sure you draw the line with the other students and say, I'm the only person that can call them by this nickname, not you. This is between us. So do that. The next one, which is number 7, would be connect with each kid. Find something you have in common with every single student you teach. Okay, I'm telling you, make for a difference. Find something in common. I don't care if it's, hey, my favorite color is black also. Hey, I like the same sport as you. We're from the same hometown. Your mom has the same name as my mom. Your mom has the same name as my cousin. Hey, I read that book before. Just something. Hey, we watch the same TV show. Oh, I see you're drinking that. Hey, you know what? My son drinks that too. Just find a way to connect to every single kid. It is priceless and it will make your life so much easier. Number 8, give the kids grace. Get a baby's grace, okay? And I'm really saying this more so to my high school teachers who might be watching me because, having taught elementary for 16 and then middle for 4, and it's my 3rd year in high school. Ooh, y'all high school teachers. You high school teachers, y'all need a hug. For real, y'all need a hug. Because several high school teachers feel like God put you here. Now, if you're not God-fearing, whoever you believe in, if you don't believe in anybody, sorry. Y'all think God put y'all here to teach kids life lessons. Stop. So give the kids grace. Just like people give us grace, okay? And so what that means is, sometimes a kid's going to be late to your class. If it's somebody who's never normally late, why make a big deal? Sometimes you're late for stuff and people let you slide. Give them grace. The other reason why I say we should give our students grace is because they are going through things that we can't even imagine and that we will never experience in our lives. And to give you an example, you figure I'm 48. I have kids who have parents who are incarcerated. Guess what? I'm never going to experience that because I'm an adult at this point. So even if, God forbid, my parents did something crazy, them going to jail would not just really disrupt my life. Okay. We have kids whose parents are incarcerated. We have kids who are living with other family members. We have kids who have parents who have died or who have had siblings who have died or who have experienced death like in a very tragic, sudden way. We have kids who are hungry When they get home, they don't necessarily have a refrigerator full of food, okay? We have kids who are sometimes in homes where education is not valued. So no, they do not have a homework table and a homework corner and a quiet place to do work, okay? These are the same kids who, guess what? If your parents don't value education, your parents don't give a crap that school starts tomorrow. They will still have people in the house. It'll be all loud and music. So you are dealing with children who are dealing with things that we cannot imagine. And they're not always going to come to school, and especially at the beginning of the year, because you don't have a relationship yet. So they're not going to come to school and be like, hey, guess what? You know what? I'm sorry. I really need to just lay down in your class because last night my mother had a party and I didn't really get any sleep. No, most time they're not going to tell you that. So give them grace, okay? Just when you think about, wow, why is this child acting this way? Just know they may not be going home to the same type of home that you're going to, or the same kind of, house that you're creating for your own children if you have kids. All right, number 9. Make it fun, make it fun, make it fun. Now, I know there are some old school teachers out there who are like my age and they're a little older and they're like, kids are here to learn. They got all these computers and they got this. I'm here to teach. It don't have to be fun. Yes, it does. Make it fun. Make it fun for 2 reasons. 1, the time will go by faster and you'll look up and be like, oh my goodness, we only got 5 minutes left of class. Secondly, behavior problems. Guess what? When kids are having fun and they're engaged, you don't have behavior problems, okay? Let me repeat. You don't have behavior problems when you make learning fun. You do not. Now, yes, there will be some outliers and sometimes there'll be some kids and you'll feel like, oh my gosh. But as the collective, the more engaging and fun your lessons are, then the less behavior problems you will have. So this is, just keep that in mind. I'm not saying you got to be standing on top of your head and doing headstands and dressing up in character, but I am saying that this level of animation that I'm bringing right now to this video, this is really me in the classroom. This is me. And the kids are like, are you just on caffeine? Absolutely not. Actually, I'm not, because I do intermittent fasting. So now that I work part-time, I only teach the first 2 blocks. So when I'm teaching the kids, I haven't even eaten yet, but try to make it fun. And then the last tip, which connects to the parents, is engage with the parents early so you can see who's going to be a little pebble in your shoe, because there's always a couple. And what I mean by that is there are some parents, it does not matter. It does not matter what grade their child is in. They think they're still in school. Okay, that's just what it is. So you want to know who those parents are so that you can kind of stay 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 steps ahead of them. Because as long as the little pebble, the squeaky wheel, as long as you stay ahead of them, then that decreases any issues of administration having to contact you because a parent contacted them and you're like, what? Stay on top of those parents. Okay, so those are the parents who, for that meet the teacher day, they're going to talk and talk and talk. Those are the parents you want to pay attention to, okay? Because those are the parents that you definitely want to make sure that if something's going on with their child, that you reach out to them before it becomes a big problem, because those are the parents that they got a lot of free time. So what they do is if they feel like you have not handled their child's academic progress appropriately, meaning their child is failing and you didn't tell them and they love to write an email, y'all. They love to write an email. And so they'll email you and then they'll email your principal or your assistant principal and then the principal. And then they'll even go so far as they'll find out who the board member is for that school. And y'all, trust me, find the squeaky parent and then stay ahead of them. Stay ahead of them, make your life so much easier. So I'm going to recap my 10. I'm not quite sure if they're going to be in the same order, but I'm going to recap. So 1, learn the administrator's big rocks. 2, don't set your room up till you find out the big rocks. That way you can save yourself some time. 3, what was 3? Find out who the leaders are in the building so you can kind of move accordingly, pay attention. 4, what was 4? I don't even know, y'all. Well, work bestie. Find your work bestie because life gets rough at school. Find a work bestie. 5, remember your why, because at some point during the school year, you are going to want to cry or quit or both. Find it. 6 is learn your students' names ASAP. And remember, no nicknames, learn their names. Unless, of course, they tell you, I like to be called such and such. So for instance, my name's Michelle. Everybody calls me Michelle. However, if I was new to your class and I say, hey, my name is Michelle, but I really like to go by Shelly, or I go by my middle name or something, make a note of that and call them that. Now, I don't be calling them street nicknames. Okay. So if your nickname is Pookie or Boo Boo, like, I'm not calling you that. But if it's a variation of your name in some way, then I will definitely, if you're Michael, you want to be Mike. If you're Richard and you go by Rick, something like that, I'm fine with that. If you're, Taekwon and you want to be Ty, I'm okay with that. But, some names I'm like, I'm not doing all that. Next one, connect with the kids as soon as possible. Find something in common with every last one of your students. Trust me, even if it takes you the whole semester, just try. Give the kids grace. I know I get on my soapbox about that one. I do. That is really my soapbox one. Get the kids grace, because every day somebody's giving me grace and I appreciate it. 9, have fun. When you have fun, the kids have fun, the time goes by faster, and most importantly, you have less behavior problems. You just have less behavior problems. And the less behavior problems you have, the less attention you will get from your administration, which means then you are free to teach and have a good time. And then finally, number 10, engage with the parents. Figure out who's going to be potentially somebody who, might be an issue, so that you can kind of stay ahead of them, because I can guarantee you every year there is always at least one. Sometimes you get unlucky and have several, but there's always at least one. Okay. So again, can you believe it? School is starting, as you can tell. I absolutely love teaching. I really do. So I'm excited. I can't wait to go set up my room. And, I have a rainbow theme going on because I want all the kids to feel welcomed. So I have rainbows in my room, just as a little dog whistle to let people know I see you, I value you, I welcome you. Everybody here is welcomed in my room. And I hope that if you are a teacher and you watch this far into the video, I appreciate you. Please feel free to look in the description. I have a link to sign up for my newsletter. If you're a high school ELA teacher, that's the stuff I make for TPT, so you might find something of interest to you. I also do freebies every single month, and it's always connected back to 6 through 12 ELA. So if that applies to you, by all means, sign up for my newsletter, and that way you'll have access to that materials. And yes, they're free. So again, thank you for watching. And I hope that you have an amazing school year. I hope this is your best school year ever. And no matter how tough it gets, do not quit. Don't quit. I'm telling you, the kids need you. They value you. They appreciate you. And even when they seem like they don't quit. They would miss you. So don't quit. All right. And as always, until later, be grateful. Bye-bye.